Welcome to another episode of Pathetic, the podcast, where three miserable football fans will talk to you about their misery, a lot of sports. What we want you to do, we want you to be a little interactive, okay? Our Linktree is down in the corner. Check us out. Check out our social media. Let us know what you think about as far as what we're talking about. We've got a lot of things. We try to not delve off into different areas, but we do because we're all like ADT candidates. Did I say ADT or ADD? ADD. Yeah, ADD, whatever that is. And we're all out of Ritalin. So, Mike, how are you tonight?
I'm great. I finally finished off the last of the Thanksgiving leftovers today or last night. So, feeling good, feeling ready to go. We got a little snow today. We're in the Christmas spirit. Ready to rock and roll here to the end of the year. Jeff, how we doing?
Yep, the Thanksgiving leftovers are leftovers. They are gone. There's no more, and they were gone pretty quickly. Did you guys notice what I did today? I don't know if anybody noticed.
What you did today?
Just now. I showed up 1 minute late in honor of Abdul Carter. I figured, why not? let me show up late, and we'll get into that disaster. But oh my God, what a
wait! Should I blank you? Should I blank you out for the first segment of the show because as a punishment?
Yeah, well, I was gonna fall asleep halfway through in honor of him too. So
wait, you know what I heard? I heard this latest one was his earbuds disconnected from his.
That was a parody account. That was a parody account, Teddy. That was not correct. I saw the one you saw. That is 100% from a parody guy.
Okay,
who's done all these kind of things. But he did have it at 3:30 before he even knew they were going to get suspended. He put that out there, and then all of a sudden he didn't play anyway. So,
by the way, nobody falls for the parody accounts more than Uncle Teddy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But you know what? The thing is, I fall for them too. But sometimes they're so crazy. You're like, all right, I'll look it up to see if it's true. But like, it looks like a legit news story, like a highlight.
Yeah, this guy was legit. He had like 20,000 followers. He's like he says like Giants Insider. Yep. And I was like, I almost sent it to you, Teddy. But then I was like, wait a minute. This sounds a little off. And then I saw the community note underneath that said, this is a parody account. This is not the real deal. So
what was the fake story? Something with his earbuds?
He was watching an adult website during a meeting with his earbuds disconnected, and that's what got him suspended.
Isn't it sad? Like, if you heard Eli Manning did that, you'd be like, yeah, no way. The fact that we can believe that Abdul Carter did that. Like, I wouldn't even believe Jackson Dart would do that, even at his age. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the fact that we believe Abdul Carter did that, that's all you need to know.
Well, because he's not giving us any reason not to believe that he does stupid crap like that.
Right.
Yep. You know, Tiki said today he still believes, because Evan Roberts said he believes he's a bust. He's on the Jeff bandwagon.
Mm-hmm.
But Tiki said, no, I don't believe that. I think he's going to straighten out, which I hope for Giant fans he does. You know?
But yeah, I don't know. It's his first year. And listen, if he wasn't acting like such a jerk, maybe we'd be a little more, lenient. But, his attitude is bad. That's the problem, right? If your attitude is bad, you usually don't get better in anything, right? So how much better is he going to get if he still thinks his doesn't stink, right?
Right.
So
right.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
We said it last week. If he had 8 sacks right now as opposed to half a sack, I think we would have a very different conversation about this. If he's not performing well, if he's not having a good attitude and he's not performing, then that's two X's against him versus, if you're performing and you're doing that, okay, you're a jerk. That's fine. There's 900 other jerks in the NFL who are talented and do really well. I mean, look at the ones in Philadelphia. I mean, look at A.J. Brown. He catches all these passes and touchdowns and everything else. You could be a jerk at that point.
Yeah.
You can't be a jerk when you have half a sack and be falling asleep and everything else in your rookie season.
Yep. Before I go back to Jeff to talk a little bit more about the Giants, Jeff's got a few things he wants to touch on. I just want to remind people, please like, subscribe, whether you watch us or listen to us. Please like and subscribe. And as I mentioned, let us know what you think. We're talking about Abdul Carter maybe being a bust, maybe not. Let us know what you think. Do you think he's going to be a bust? Mike and I have already been accused of being, what was it? Giant haters?
Whiny Jet fans.
Whiny Jet fans.
Yeah.
by one of our fans. So, and also I want to shout out Mike. It was your dad's birthday this week. So shout out John.
Yes.
I hope you have a great birthday. He's on his 94th cruise of the year.
Close. 17th cruise of the year they're on currently.
17 cruises?
17 cruises.
Jeez.
God bless him.
Yeah.
He is, when they came up with the word retirement, they have to put his picture next to it because he figured it out. For a regular guy, the way he's worked it out, and you know what? God bless him.
Yeah.
God bless him.
I'm gonna have to work till I'm 95 because I'm gonna have no inheritance left because of all these cruises. But that's fine. I'm okay with that.
I used to think that about like when my mom and dad were spending money, I would be like, come on, is there going to be anything left when you finally go? But you know what? Now that I'm getting up there, I'm like, man, my legacy is going to be the memories. Where the kids want the legacies to be a little keshish, but I want the legacy to be the memories.
Yeah, I'm all about the memories as well because I'll be down there in February, so we'll be ready to rock and roll. So
yeah, we definitely want to see some videos from there. So that should be pretty fun. But Jeff, I want to go back to you. You are our resident Giants fan. For the first time in a long time, me and Mike are actually seeing maybe a light at the end of the tunnel. It could be a train, could be, but we're seeing, the Jets are playing better. Aaron Glenn is coaching better. Aaron Glenn is actually being better in the press conferences. So we're kind of okay right now. I know you're not. So let's see what you got going on.
Yeah, the only light that we have right now is we have the quarterback, which is arguably the hardest thing to do in football, especially when you're historically a bad team. Even though the Giants have had good quarterbacks in their history, but the last 10 years it's been horrible, right? But before I get into the Abdul Carter thing, which we kind of touched on already, I got to talk about just the embarrassment at this point of being a Giants fan. On really every level, either they get blown out or they're losing in the fourth quarter with 3 or 4 minutes to go. And I'm having trouble juggling, what's worse, right? Was it worse to lose against Denver in the last couple of minutes, or was it worse to get smacked around by the Patriots? It's like it's two different kinds of bad. But I'll tell you this, guys. Think about like the symbolism of this game. We have a field goal kicker that stubbed his toe before kicking the ball. And I got to tell you, I've never seen that before. We've seen some bad football over the years, right? I have never seen a kicker stub his toe before he gets to the ball, which was, and my crazy dumb self thought, you know what? Maybe this place kicker, Gillen, is going to throw a touchdown. Not even close. There was like a little glimmer of hope he was going to do that, but look, to me, you look at Kafka too. He's basically an extension of Brian Dable. It's the same old crap. It's bad play calling. It's complete game mismanagement. And the worst thing he does, and this is what I used to kill Dable for, he has balls when he shouldn't and doesn't have balls when he should, right? Case in point, not going for it on fourth down when there's whatever there was, like 6 or 7 minutes to go. You're down 30-15. You got to go for it there. Okay.
Yeah.
It's still a 2-possession game there, and there's only 6 or 7 minutes, and you're also 2-10 at the time. Like, what are we doing? We're punting the ball there. That was so embarrassing. He did that also earlier in the game. I thought he should have went for it. It was, I think, a 4th and 2 from like their own 40 or something like that. But it's just the same old crap, guys. Week after week, it's almost like a homework assignment watching this team at this point. Because, again, the only glimmer is Jackson Dart. I actually thought Dart played well, considering how bad the Giants played. Didn't have a lot of yards. I think he threw for like $147 or $150. Did have a touchdown. I don't know if you guys saw that 2-point conversion that he had.
Mm-hmm.
That was phenomenal. That's kind of a microcosm of what I love about this kid. His awareness, his elusiveness in the pocket. He's got to stop taking the hits. He got his clock clean again yesterday. But I thought he played well. I know people are knocking him for getting hit, and I get it. I don't want to see the kid get hurt, but I also don't want to see him play too conservative. Doesn't sound like he is, but listen, I mean, this is the Giants are a disaster, man. They're a disaster, and it's going to take a coach to change this because the culture is losing. The culture is like they're going to lose before the game even starts. Just you wonder what way they're going to lose this time. But I don't know, man. It's like every week. What else can I say about the Giants? You can just play this on a loop for the next, whatever, 4 or 5 weeks. But it is what it is, man. This is where we are.
I will say that the one hit, if that's Patrick Mahomes running out of bounds there and that hit happens, that flag is coming out before he even hits the ground. That
Right.
flag is out, and that guy might be suspended but he hasn't earned that spot yet in terms of being the guy who's going to get that call in a spot. Now, granted, you take a look at it again, it was a clean hit, it was inbounds, all of that, but he's got to. I understand he is. I love what he said after the game, where he said, "We're not playing soccer here. We're not. This is how I've played football my entire life. I'm not changing." So, and I love that, but they're very different athletes in the NFL than there are in college and in high school. You're going to deal with guys who are never going to play football again in college, in high school, and everywhere else that you've played. In the NFL, every single guy that's playing on the defense is the best player in the history of their high school. So, that and one of the best players in their colleges for the most part. They are grown men who are ridiculously fast. If you've ever been on an NFL sideline watching these guys run at full speed, it is something to be seen. You won't even realize how fast the game is until you see it up close like that. But he's got to do something to adjust, and pick his spots of when he wants to be aggressive. In the first quarter of a game, running for an extra 2 yards is maybe not the spot to go ahead and do that. But at the end of the game, if that's the fourth quarter and you're down a touchdown and you want to take those extra 2 yards, go for it. But that's
that was such a violent hit. Clean.
It was. Yeah.
Clean. But it was so violent. And I agree, Mike. Later in the game, maybe you want to do that. But even the guy who hit him, Ellis, said he was going down the sidelines, and I thought he was going to step out. And when he didn't, I knew I had to hit him. And as he said, that boy's got to learn to slide.
Yep.
And he really does. I am not a Giant fan. I do not want to see him get hurt. He's one of my favorite players. He was one of my favorite players coming out of the draft. The same way I never rooted against Eli. You can't. And I don't want to see Dart get hurt. Unfortunately, he has to find some middle ground between his aggressiveness and being reckless. Because if he doesn't, you're going to be looking for another quarterback in 2 years. And we don't want that.
Yeah. And, the comparisons to Josh Allen, right? Because Josh Allen did have that problem his first year. He was way too reckless. He was still stuck in college ball. But Josh Allen is also 6'5", 250 pounds.
He's a linebacker.
Jackson Dart's not a small guy, but he's like average size. He's like 6'2", 215, he's probably 6'1", right? They always give you an inch. He can't play like Josh Allen. He can run, but I think Dart's best attribute isn't even his running. I think it's his moving around the pocket, right? So I want to, and he can throw the ball. It's not like he's a player that can't throw and he has to run. You want to save that,
right?
In the arsenal. You don't want to use it every time. But it's a weird line to draw with him, right? Because part of his game is the recklessness, right? That's kind of what gets the juices flowing, right? It keeps the defenses on their heels. But on the converse, if he goes down, the season's over, right? So it's a weird line for him to find. But you said this before about him, Uncle Ted. He's a smart kid, right? He's no dummy.
Very smart.
So he'll figure it out. I'm not concerned about Dart having these injuries every year. He's a very smart player. He doesn't need to run all the time. So I think, again, this is a rookie being a rookie. Like Tiki says, he hates rookies, right?
Yeah.
He thinks he's invincible. I mean, he got his clock clean yesterday. That hit, as clean as it was, I mean, he was airborne for like 3 seconds, and he did get back up right away, which was good. But yeah, he's got to learn to at least brace himself.
My concern is he's going to get hurt bad before he learns.
Yeah,
that's my concern, because I do think he will learn, but I don't want to see him get killed. So
no.
Yeah, I mean, I just and I'll tell you this. You need him so bad, because as Mike and I can attest to, when you're hoping to get a quarterback, I'm rooting for the Jets to win every game. But when they win and I see them drop a little bit further down, now they do in the draft, now they do have the assets to move up if they want. But you can't lose him. You can't lose him. He's too important for the franchise right now. He's too important for the next coach. He's going to be the attractive gem that the coach is going to want to come to. You know, if this was last year, you might have been talking about Ben Johnson wanting to come because you've got Jackson Dart here. Mm-hmm. And you see what Johnson's doing with Chicago. And I don't want to hear crap about the Bears haven't played anybody, because neither has New England, if you want to look at it that way.
You can only play who's in front of you. So that's exactly. I never subscribe to that.
Exactly. So, but yeah, and then we've got Mike Tomlin rumors coming out of Pittsburgh that he might be in a position where he realizes it's time to leave, and apparently the Rooneys and the Maras are pretty close, and you know there's a chance that they think that they can make some sort of a deal, whereas the Rooneys may ask for a number 1 pick from someone, but it won't be the Giants. So they'll never ask the Giants for that, because they're in the NFC. They're friendly with the Maras. You know, they'll let them go just to be accommodating. I've heard a lot of Giant fans say, "Oh, we don't want him." I think I could speak for you, Jeff. You would drive to the airport to pick him up.
I'd fly from Charlotte, drive to the airport, pick him up, take him out to dinner. He's paying, but I'm taking him out to dinner, and I am welcoming him with open arms. You're crazy if you're a Giant fan and you would not be all over this guy.
Right.
Any team. I mean, it's Mike Tomlin, right? And look, things get stale, right? That's what's happening in Pittsburgh. He didn't forget how to coach. He's not old school. He's a little old school, but he has a new school style to him. So, and listen, it's when we've seen it with teams all across the league. We've seen it in New York. We saw it with Coughlin to a degree, right? It's just, it's time to move on, right? It doesn't mean he's a bad coach. It doesn't mean he's losing it. It's just, like I said, it's getting stale. So if there's a way the Giants can get Mike Tomlin, the question is, does Tomlin want to take a year? If he parts ways with Pittsburgh, I don't think he would if he can get the Giant job, because I think the Giants are an extremely attractive job, and someone's going to get it next year, right? And when there's a vacancy, usually the team sucks. There's a reason why there's a vacancy. The Giants are in a unique position that the team actually doesn't suck. They've just been poorly coached, right? So if you're a Mike Tomlin, if you're a Mike McCarthy, if you're a John Gruden, like, the door's going to be knocking for the Giants. And I think Tomlin, even if he wanted to take that 1 year little recharge, like a lot of coaches do, I think he would forfeit that to coach the Giants.
I'll tell you this: if the Giants hire a hot coordinator, like the defensive coordinator from, the offensive coordinator from San Francisco, is that Greasy? Is that who that is, Mike?
I heard it. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody like him.
Yeah, I believe so.
Or a D coordinator. I would just, if I'm a Giant fan, I'd lose my mind, because this job is set up for, I think, a Mike McCarthy or a Mike Tomlin, a guy like that. I was going to say a Lane Kiffin, but now he's at LSU. But if Lane Kiffin came to the Giants within 2 or 3 years, whether they were successful or not, he'd be looking to go somewhere else. So
yeah, no Lane. Kiffin.
He's like Urban Meyer. He's one of those guys that just, and then he has the gall, or as my grandmother, God rest her soul, would say, "K-Gots," to say to Mike knows what I'm saying, to say, "Oh, I'll coach them in the championship series." No, you won't. Go away.
No,
go away. Just leave.
I also heard he's, and I may be mixing the story up a little bit, but he's going to get the bonuses if they win, like he still gets a piece of the like that.
I think they're talking about that. They're talking about.
Listen, whoever his manager is, God bless him. If he can pull that one off. But that would be insane to give the guy the bonus for winning a championship when you're not even part of the team anymore. No, that's absolutely crazy.
Well, this past weekend, other than watching, the Jets and the Giants and some college football and hockey and all, Mike came to Tom's River on Saturday morning. We met at the golf course. It was at 7 a.m. It was 29 degrees on the driving range. We teed off at 8:10. Me, Mike, and Lou. And it was like 31 degrees. Thank God there was no wind.
Yeah.
And we had a great day. We really did have a great day. Mike and I kept warm with a few fireballs.
Yep.
That we had in the bag, and then a few natty lights.
Heineken Silvers.
Oh, Heineken Silvers.
Yeah, shout out Heineken.
And wait, and then Mike comes back to the house, and he's holding a ladder while I'm hanging up icicle Christmas lights. So my question,
took me back.
Right. Mike, and a couple of times it was pretty scary, Mike. I thought that ladder was going over.
Yep.
My question is, when is it too early to put up Christmas decorations? I mean, I remember it used to be like a week and a half before Christmas, people would be putting lights on outside.
I think anything before Thanksgiving is too early. I think Thanksgiving is once you see Santa in the Macy's parade, or you see March of the Wooden Soldiers, if you're from that group who loves that movie on Channel 11. If you see either of those two things, then you're allowed to do whatever you want after that. I don't listen. The Christmas music comes on the radio a couple of weeks before. I don't put it on until I see Santa on the end of that Macy's parade, and then it's Christmas time. Then it's ready to rock and roll. But anything before, these people who put it up the day after Halloween are nuts.
So Santa at the end of the parade kind of cuts the ribbon on, okay, we can go to Christmas now.
Correct.
Okay. Jeff, what do you think about that? First of all, do you put lights up and all?
No. First of all, no.
The way he says it.
No way. Absolutely not. Listen, here's the thing. I love Christmas lights. I love Christmas music. So I don't think there is a too early to put them up. I love it.
Oh.
I wish they were up all year round. It puts you in a good mood. The music is good. The lights are up. To me, it's depressing when they come down.
Yes.
Right? Outside of my birthday, January is a terrible month, right?
Yep.
There's nothing really going on besides playoff football. But nah, man, I don't think it's ever too early. But if there is a too early, like a realistic time, I think for the average person, I think is the day after Thanksgiving. I think that probably makes the most sense, right? That holiday is done, and I love Thanksgiving. So maybe you don't want to interfere those two. You want to celebrate Thanksgiving and then get Christmas, get that going. You got a nice month. So I would say for me, listen, if you put them up in October, I'm all in. But realistically, to the average person, the day after Thanksgiving.
Why don't you put them up? Because if you like them up all year round, you definitely would keep them up all year round. I mean, you don't pick up suitcases that when you walk in the front door, you drop a suitcase. That suitcase is there for could be months to years. Mm-hmm. So you'd be perfect with Christmas lights.
Yeah,
you'd always be in a good mood, right?
I get the last laugh for the suitcase because I'm ready to go anytime I have to.
Yeah, that is true.
Christmas, I just pick it up. The laundry's done. I am ready to rock and roll. I don't have to pack.
You don't even know what's in the suitcase, though.
No clue.
When you open it up,
I like surprises. I get the jersey. I'm like, oh, okay. I brought this. I brought that. But yeah, man, listen, Christmas lights, it's festive, puts you in a good mood. You guys, Uncle Ted always do a good job every Christmas, every time we come there.
Well, it's Aunt Peachy.
So,
she had the Christmas tree up before Thanksgiving.
She loves that stuff.
She loves it so much. And you know what she says every year? I've got to get rid of some stuff. I have so much. So what she does is she gives stuff to the girls. And then I come home and there'll be like, home goods and all these bags with Christmas stuff. And she goes, I realized I didn't have this. I said, you gave it away. Now it's costing me money.
Aunt Peachy is the queen of the tchotchkes. She loves your house, even on the old house that you had.
Yeah.
There is just all kinds of stuff everywhere. The bar, there was a million different decorations. Aunt Peachy has always been a fan of doing that.
There's not a spot on the wall. Like if you go in my bathroom, there's a little wooden, it looks like a picture frame, and inside it says "Wash Up Buttercup." What does that even mean? Seriously, what does that mean? I don't understand. But again, we're talking about the woman who has 74 pillows on the bed. Right? It's like I actually threw my shoulder out taking the pillows off the bed one night because I went to bed before her. It's unbelievable. That should be a thing. When you get engaged to someone, you should give them a checklist of things like, what are your feelings about pillows on beds? And if they think it's more than one, you got to rethink the direction you're going.
Because it doesn't end there.
What about you, Mike? You got pillows on the bed?
Yeah.
Other than the ones you sleep with?
There were some. They now are sitting on the chair that's next to the bed. Is full of about 4 pillows that we don't use. That's more of old school. My parents had, I think, 11 pillows on their bed at their house in New York when they were up there. But yeah, it is something. That's not something that I'm big into. But it really felt, I will say, it did feel like my grandparents' house and all the houses that I used to go to for Christmas there on Saturday. It felt like I was in like a Italian, tornado basically for the entire day, which was great. I loved it. I love every second of it. It is what my family does if we're around. We are equally as loud and fun and running around all over the place. It was great. I loved every second of the time I was there on Saturday.
Jeff, we're hanging out, we're just doing some stuff, and then all of a sudden, Shannon comes in with Denver and Nash, and then the hurricane hit, and then the doorbell rings, and Heather walks in with the 3 of them, and it was on at that point. It was full blast on.
It was like a WWF entrance to the Royal Rumble, right? Everyone just jumps in the ring at the same time.
And they loved seeing Mike. They loved Mia, especially. Mike lasagna. And then she laughs. It was hysterical. Well, you know what happened last night? Lexi and Mia were doing gymnastics. And Heather was yelling at them saying, don't do them here because little Charlie, who's 3 years old, will be doing them and he doesn't know how to do them. Do them in the playroom. Well, before she can do anything, little Charlie does a gymnastics. He flipped off the back of the couch, hit the ottoman, then hit the ground. And then he started complaining, my neck, my neck. So Heather was in the emergency room with him this morning because he kept saying,
seriously?
My neck. Yeah, because he kept complaining. So she went for an x-ray. And they said it looks like it's just a strain. So then they FaceTime me tonight. And Charlie goes, hi, Pop. I said, how's your neck? Good. I'm like, oh, these kids are going to put you in the grave. I swear to God. So we had, before we get to our football picks, which is really embarrassing. It's like, it really is embarrassing. Mostly for me. You guys are treading water. It's just embarrassing for me. Mike, you had some mush picks. Now, what happened with them? And then give us your new mush picks.
So I did have a mush pick that we did not get on the air. We got too excited last week to put them on there. But I did have a National Lacrosse League 3-team parlay that actually hit. I got to pull them up here, the 3 teams. But all 3 of them did hit. So I'm going to stick with the well this week. I'm going to go with the 2-team parlay. These games are on Friday and Saturday. I'm going to take the Halifax Thunderbirds minus 1.5 goals against the Oshawa Firewolves. I guess that's a new team. I think they were in Albany, and then they just located to Oshawa, Ontario.
Nobody cares, Mike.
Just fun fact about the league. So I will take Halifax -1.5 on Friday, and I will also take the Saskatchewan Rush. I know you love Saskatchewan,
I love Saskatchewan.
Teddy. So I'll take the Saskatchewan Rush -1.5 goals at the home against the Calgary Roughnecks on Saturday. So Mikey Mush's picks for this week. I believe there were 3 U.S. teams last week. It was, here they are. They were the San Diego Seals -1.5 goals against the Ottawa Black Bears. The Buffalo Bandits -1.5 against the Georgia Swarm. And then the Colorado Mammoth +1.5 against the Vancouver Warriors. All 3 of those did cover. So we're going to ride with the National Lacrosse League here. You ever watch box lacrosse? It is so much fun. They take a full-size lacrosse team and put them in a hockey rink and let them go nuts on artificial turf for a while. It's a lot of fun, a lot of goals, a lot of scoring, a lot of hits. It's really fun to watch. So if you get a chance to take a look at those 2 games, certainly do that. So Mikey Mush's picks for this week.
That would remind me of seeing my grandchildren in my house for a night. Just chaos.
If you watch the old bloopers, because this thing's been around since the 80s, there were some bloopers where the artificial turf is not really put down very well, and they get into the corner, and there must be a hockey game either like the next day, so there's ice underneath the artificial turf, and the artificial turf comes up like your rug comes up when your kids, rub your feet against it, and all of a sudden the guy just slides on the ice and just completely falls on himself. So
nice. Well, before we get to our NFL picks, I do want to give a shout out to my Saskatchewan Rough Riders, who won the Grey Cup championship by beating the Montreal Alouettes. So, way to go, A. That's what I'm talking about. Now, we're going into the 14th week of the season, and we have had a real big change in the standings. This week, Jeff went 3-0, and he is now in first place by himself with a record of 20-19. I, who was in second place, went 1-2, and I dropped to third place. I'm 18-20-1. And Mike still making his moves. He was 1-2, but he's still making his moves here. He's 19-20. So it is tight, but I have a feeling that Jeff's going to run away with it. He's on a roll. I think me and Mikey Mush are going to be fighting it out for who holds up the rear on this thing. But we're ready for week 14 in the NFL. Mike, where what?
They play for pay.
Da-da-da, da-da-da. Jeff, you're in first place. You're making the picks first.
All right, let's see.
Are you ready?
This roll. Oh, I'm ready. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if this roll can continue. My rolls never continue when it comes to betting, so trust me, I'm not very confident. But the first game I'm actually very confident in. I'm going to go the Denver Broncos -7.5 over the the Las Vegas Raiders. The Broncos won a bunch of games in a row. Raiders are god awful. I think they're going to get smoked. So give me the Broncos over the Raiders. Game number 2. This is actually a very good game. I had trouble picking it. I like the Colts -1.5 over Jacksonville. I like Jacksonville. I do like the Colts, but I do think Daniel Jones is going to play well. I think he'll outplay Trevor Lawrence and win by 3, maybe 4. So give me the Colts -1.5 over Jacks. And finally, I'm really looking forward to this game too, guys. The Bengals +5.5 over the Buffalo Bills. Here come the Bengals, right? I have a feeling they're going to make a run, and I like the Bills. I don't love them. I think they're susceptible not to a terrible game, but a game where they're just not the Bills that we expect. So I do like the Bengals getting 5.5 points there. So Jeff's picks: the Broncos, the Colts, and the Bengals.
All righty. So let's see if he can keep that up. Mike, why don't you give us your picks?
So we're actually going head-to-head on one of these games, Jeff. I am going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars plus 1.5 against the Colts. I think the Colts are done. I think Daniel Jones is running out of steam here at the end of the year. So I love what Jacksonville's doing right now. I've been riding with them the last couple of weeks here, and I really love what they're doing. So give me Jacksonville plus 1.5 at home dog, or a common theme here. I will also take the New York Jets plus 2.5 at home against the Dolphins. Unfortunately, Teddy, I know we don't want to jinx them here, but I'm looking at playoff simulator, and I see an 8-9 Jets team sneaking in the 7th seed with about 900 other things that need to happen.
How great!
But the first thing that's got to happen is they got to win out. They cannot lose any more games. I love what they're doing right now. I love what Aaron Glenn's having this team do. The Dolphins are a wounded duck right now. Let's take them out and let's win outright, but I'll give me the 2.5 points for the Jets, game number 2. And then game number 3, I will take the Chicago Bears plus 6.5 at the Green Bay Packers. If this is not the year for the Bears, I don't know what is. The Packers are kind of a streaky team. They're good one week, they're bad the next week. I think 6.5 points is a ton of points in this game. I think Chicago plays all of their games really close, so I will lay that 6.5 points for a really good team there. So give me the Jaguars plus 1.5, the Jets plus 2.5, the Bears plus 6.5. Mikey Mush's picks for week 14. I can't believe it. 14 in the National Football League.
Well, Mike, we match up on 2 picks. I'm also taking the Jets. I do feel they are going to beat the Dolphins. I think they're going to beat them outright. I really do. I don't think the Dolphins are anything special. They're a very weird team. Very weird. But I do think the Jets will win. I am also a big fan of the Bears in this one. I mean, I just the times I've seen Green Bay, other than the Detroit game on Thanksgiving, they've looked very mediocre, very beatable. So
yeah, six, that's a lot of points too.
6.5's a lot.
Yeah, that's
it really
lot.
is.
It is.
But the one that's going to separate us, Mike, whereas you took the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm taking Cincinnati getting 5.5 at Baltimore, and I'll tell you why. I think Cincinnati's going to get better now that Burrow is with them. I mean, they went out and then who'd they beat? Who'd they beat? What do you call it? Oh no, against the Bills. Yeah, they beat Baltimore on Thanksgiving. I want to
make sure
night.
I didn't make a mistake. I made the mistake. I made the mistake last week or 2 weeks ago. I'm like, can I do it again?
Buffalo's so up and down, and for some reason they gag a little at home, and I don't know what that is. But I'm going to take those points, and I'm going to think that Burrow's going to be psyched up for that. I think he's going to go up there, and he's going to look to redeem the season for them. And if they win, I think they're very much alive. So my 3 picks are going to be the Jets getting 2.5, the Bears getting 6.5, and Cincinnati getting 5.5. My picks for the week. So let's see what happens. Guys, I'll be in Hershey Park this weekend.
Oh, I forgot. This is the big weekend. You think it's nuts at the house. I can't even imagine what those kids are going to be running around Hershey Park hopped up on chocolate and hot chocolate and everything else, running around in Santa and
insane
all the rides. It's going to be wild. If you need to, Teddy, Hershey's on the way back. Come by, relax, have a couple of bourbons on the way back here, and enjoy. But just you and Peachy come over.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to cause Bethlehem to go into shock and put into new laws and everything. But yeah, the whole, as I always call them, the whole Matarazza gang will be with us. But yeah, we're going to have fun this weekend. Guys, everybody have fun. Jeff, Mike, I'll talk to you next week. Guys, check out our Linktree, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.